That's the best shot right there.
This Star Wars droid was one of many delightful things to see at the 2022 Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina, which I attended personally, and I'm going to give you more highlights from this show, which was more than awesome. Let's get into it. Welcome to Comic Power. My name is Comic Killer 72, and welcome to another episode of The Quick Flip. This is the program where I go over comic book industry news in a short period of time. All right, let's get right into it. 2022 was the 40th anniversary of the Heroes Convention. It takes place in the Charlotte, North Carolina Convention Center every year now. It's hosted by the comic book store Heroes Art and Hard to Find, which was founded and still owned by Shelton Drum. In Charlotte, North Carolina, Heroes isn't just a comic book store, it's an institution. If you're ever in the Charlotte area, they're open 7 days a week, and their address is 417 Pecan Avenue, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28204. I live in the Charlotte metro area, so I shop there myself. As for the show itself, I made it there last minute because I had some personal things I need to take care of. They were resolved, and I made it there last minute on a Sunday afternoon. Considering that I went there with very little prep, I left with a lot of big highlights, which included getting a chance to speak with Jim Starlin. If you don't know him, he's the creator of numerous cosmic characters in the Marvel Universe, including Drax the Destroyer and Thanos. Both of those characters made their first appearance in Iron Man number 55 back in 1974, which he wrote. He was also writing The Silver Surfer in the late 80s and early 90s, where Thanos was seeking the ultimate power, which was spinned off into the 2-issue graphic novel Thanos Quest, which had its climax in The Infinity Gauntlet, a 6-issue miniseries in which Thanos wipes out half the life in the universe, just like in the movie. Of course, these storylines were interpreted for the Infinity War and the Endgame movies in live action in the MCU. So the villain in the most profitable movie of all time was created by this guy. He's the man. Marvel even properly honored him by including him in the Endgame movie and giving him a speaking line. The scene where Captain America is in a therapy session. Yep, that's Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos. He's right there in the film. So when I met Jim, I told him, "It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Starlin. You are now one of the immortals because you got a speaking line in an Endgame movie." He's a very gracious guy too. He told me thank you, and he made a joke about how he should have been nominated for an Oscar. He went on to add that he never thought that Thanos would get adapted for live action because it might have been a little too weird for a general audience. And I responded to him by saying that Marvel needed a really good bad guy for the movies because they didn't have the rights to Magneto and Doctor Doom, which previously had belonged to Fox at the time. And then he said, "Yeah, I guess you're right. You make a good point." I know it's other people that were coming up to talk to him, so I said, "Thank you for your time, Mr. Starlin." He said, "Thank you," and I walked away. If you ever see Mr. Starlin at a con and you get a chance to speak to him, please do so. He's a very nice guy and an absolute legend for his contributions to the comic book media. I also got a chance to speak with Skottie, who's an artist and writer, and you know his style. He's very well known. I call it the Calvin and Hobbes effect on superheroes. He's very popular. He had a very long line and he was signing stuff, so I had to keep it very brief. I was there to get my Strange Academy #1 signed by him and witnessed by CBCS to send it off for grading. I told him, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Young, and by the way, Strange Academy would make an excellent Disney Plus animated series." And he got very excited by that idea and said, "Yeah, you're right, that would be pretty cool." Like I said, he had a very long line, so I had to keep it brief and keep moving. So remember, that's one of the things in Con 101. When you meet your heroes, keep it very brief. Don't talk them to death because they're busy people. I apologize for not getting video footage of this stuff, but I promise you that's what happened. I mentioned before about CBCS being there. They're one of the grading companies just like CGC. And here's a list of the books I handed over to them for grading. Strange Academy #1 from Marvel Comics. I named this book the #1 comic of the year 2020. It's like the Harry Potter universe meets Doctor Strange, where he starts a school for new wizards. It's the first appearance of 10 new young characters. It's co-created and written by Skottie Young, and like I said before, I got a live signature. Hopefully my copy will be a 9.8. I also handed over an X-Men number 283. This is the first full appearance of Bishop. He's on the cover of 282, but I still consider a cameo by most grading companies. I think my copy is about a 9.4. If they're generous, they might give me a 9.6. I think they'll use him more properly in the MCU. He was just a throwaway when Fox had him in the Days of Future Past. I also included Black Adam #1 from 2022. This is the newest book that I handed over. It's the first appearance of Malik. This is the new young African-American doctor who's going to take over as the new Black Adam. The live-action movie starring Dwayne Johnson as the lead character comes out in October 2022. If it's a hit and we get multiple sequels, then I think the Malik character could eventually show up. My copy is an easy 9.8, so I'm taking a chance on this and getting in early. Also included is Tales of the Teen Titans #1 from DC Comics. It tells the origin of Cyborg. My copy has a live signature from the late George Perez, a comic book legend. The grader said they'll have to check to see if the signature is real or not, but it looks pretty consistent with George Perez's writings. My copy isn't perfect. It's probably about a 9.0 to 9. 9.2 at best, but I want to have something in my collection that was signed by George since I'm such a fan. George was a great guy. May he rest in peace. So that's all I turned in because I wasn't very prepared because I wasn't expecting to go to the show in the first place. So I'm glad I made it because there was a lot of great work by a lot of vendors on Artist Alley. One of the artists that I supported financially was WRIGHT. She's an upcoming female artist and her work is amazing. She said she drove all the way from Texas to come to this event. That's how big it was. What you're looking at right now is a 15 by 12 inch print that she created for Storm, and I just had to have it. I think that $20 was a steal for a work of art this great. I mean, seriously, look at this. It's just incredible. The attention to detail and everything is just amazing. It's framed and up in my office now as one of my best possessions in terms of the comic industry. I rank Storm number 2 on my list of the top 10 black superheroes of all time. Make sure you go and see that. I'll leave a link in the description. As for Lauren, I'm going to give you some of her social media contacts right here. She's fantastic. She's very talented, but she's also very nice. Be sure to support her by getting some commission work. She told me that she has future work coming from Dynamite Entertainment and other indie comics. Now, we're going to close out the video by showing off some of the best cosplays that I saw from fans that day, which always makes the shows more fun. So cue some 8-bit music and let's see them. Well, that's it for today. HeroesCon is always a blast, so make sure you can make it if you're capable. Be sure to put it in your calendar and be there in Charlotte in June of 2023. You know the drill. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up, and share these videos on social media so others learn about the Comic Power channel. And let me show some more love to some artists who worked their way up to become superstars in this industry. On the left is Frank Cho, a Korean-American artist who has breakout doing the Harley Quinn variants for DC. He's been working in the comic business since 1997, but didn't get his real breakout to 2016. And on the right is Adam Hughes, who I think is the best living comic book artist in the game right now. He had been working in the business since 1988, but didn't really break out to 2012. So check out these artists and see you on the next video.